me a second. Right there? Alright.
That's because you careful how it moves now. The rocking horse.
You're over there again. Release and out. Lift it off. Now, when you get out of that large circle, leave it alone for a minute. And let's see you come straight back and that way. Glide, 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 glide. You're all right. Keep going. Keep going. And release. There it is, right there. Nice job. Here. Let's do one more time. Your steering is really good. I love that. Let that be. Now you're going to pick up an axe with a stick. You have a little bit of hard time with this, don't you? Glide, 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 glide. Really good job. Very good. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be.
Kevin, has rheumatoid arthritis too. And Kylie too. Kylie's got something different though. It's kind of like the same. With Jody with her health either. She's had some issues too.
So tired what?
Tired ratty behavior.
Okay. So one thing I would tell you, do you still have your crop? You do? Where is it?
It's right over on the front.
Okay. To use it on the outside of the lead. Okay. So if you want to go to the right, yep. Let's start in trot again. And I agree. I mean, he does not look very comfortable. He does not look like he's very willful.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Something
So
be bugging him. I don't know.
I'm bugging him.
Yeah.
No.
This whole thing.
So what I want you to think about is we're not going to
I
play.
think I'm gonna go see if there's any coleslaw left.
Starting trot.
That was so good. There was just a little left, it might be gone.
Okay. So starting trot.
Getting bored
Give him
sitting
the
here.
kiss. If he doesn't take it, kiss whack, kiss whack, kiss whack with that crop until he goes. If he wants to break, you're going to let him make that mistake. When he does, kiss whack again. Now he starts to carry you a little bit better. Yeah. Now just relax. 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 Get it in. I got this one loaded now. Okay, so when he does that, kiss whack. Yep. Now just back off again. Let's pluck him up one gear. Right there. Just relax. Relax. Let him carry you. Let him carry you.
Okay, I'm gonna go across now.
Kiss whack. Ask him to steer for me again. Fix it. Kiss whack. Kiss whack. Need it. Now back off. Just relax. Relax. Kiss whack. Good. One more time. Now I want you to ask him You're great. You got it. We're going to work with you right after. One of the hardest things for riders to learn where you're getting into trouble, and usually is being able to set one thing aside while you keep this going. On this one, and this goes for lazy horses too. When it is time to let this horse rest, do you have a specific cue that tells him how to walk or how it's coming to stop? I mean, whoa means stop. I get that.
I just usually kind of,
Quit riding.
yeah.
Okay. So that's what most people say. So then, first thing that means is, if you're going to keep him going, you have to keep riding. And I'm telling you to relax. Let him carry you. And so he's saying, oh, you want me to stop? Okay. All right. What,
I guess, or easy, like if we're in the round pen and I wanted to bring down the gear, I'd say easy.
I like that better. Yeah. I mean, like, I'll hum to my horses. That's one of my cues that means walk.
Yeah, usually in the round pen that easy, and then I generally walk slower.
Perfect. Wonderful. Okay, so that is going to be just as important to teaching this horse to move out easier, him knowing what the cue is to stop. What I'm seeing from him, the brattiness that I'm seeing from him, is every stride he takes, he says, can I stop now? And you say, no. And then he takes another stride. He says, can I stop now? You say, no. Okay? If you remember, go back to when we worked on the turnaround, the black horse in the turnaround, my idea was, once we start that turn, he's going to turn until I say whoa. That's the same mentality that I want from these horses when I load their circle. As I load off, I put my hand down, I expect to be able to sit there, drink my wine, read my newspaper until I give them the specific cue that says, okay, now it's easy, now you can stop. Okay? And so that's not something we can do in a weekend. That's something I've got to make the attention every single time you ride, every single time you bring it along. Follow me? Okay. So let's get his low one again. Let's get somebody stretched out on the left circle down here. Good job. Now let's go just a half a gear faster. Just a half a gear. Buck, he doesn't take it, cluck whack. Cluck whack, one more time. There you go. That pace I like. Now let's just relax for a minute. He's going to start to slow down right here. Up, exactly. He's pretty good there, wasn't he? All right. So now let's not be greedy. Let's ask him to come down for a walk. Let him walk for a second. We're going to do it again, okay? Because here's the next vicious cycle that people get into with horses like this. They say, well, I want low 20 circles. Okay. Well, if you get greedy and you make him low 20 circles, you're going to be the one sweating for it at the end of those circles again.
Right.
He just did something great there. He doesn't really want to go. But when you clocked, he said, yes, ma'am. Don't be greedy.
Okay.
Just like we did with that turnaround. We're going to let him walk. We're going to go do it again. Okay, let's try it again. Just relax. Oh, I like this. I like this. My suggestion, I'd have you come down and get that's pretty easy. Do you see where I'm going with this? Can you feel where I'm going with this?
Yeah, that was, you really responded that, and I'm sure I've been a little bit confusing to, as the rider as well.
I won't say so much that you're confusing him. I would say more that you're willing to help him so much that he's kind of like a bratty kid that's saying, hey, rider lead. The reason that's so important, again, for those of you showing, I see it all the time in the show pen. People get into the habit of loping off in the middle on a loose rein. Their horse comes out of the bridle and they end up having to pull on them over there in the first quarter anyway. Well, think to yourself, what looks better to a judge? I'll get where you get. What looks better to a judge? You get loped off, and then you go, okay, now I'm ready. Or, again, all a good showman is a good liar. Even if your lead departure is not where it should be, if you can sell it, where you hold, okay, that's where I got, that's where I wanted, and then you ease that hand out. How much prettier that lead departure is. It just paints more of a picture of control. So now working backwards to these greener horses that need to just know their leads. First thing that I'm going to encourage all of you to do is make sure that, one, you know what your cues are. You know, if I ask you how you lope your horse off, you don't stare at me blankly, right? We have very clear cues that say this is what we're going to do. So we're going to start that way from the very, very beginning. But with that said, the only reason a horse takes the wrong lead is because they think go left when you're thinking go right. All right? And so where most people go wrong in teaching young horses to take their leads is they ask these horses to lope off, and they lope off and they're in the wrong lead. The first thing they do is they stop them. And they say, oh, that was wrong. You did it wrong. Well, put yourself in that horse's shoes. He thinks he got in trouble for loping. He doesn't realize he took the wrong lead, right? He lopes off and takes the wrong lead and gets stopped. So then the next thing that rider does is says, okay, let's try it again. And they ask him to lope off, and what do those horses do? They just trot like pacers. Like, no, I'm not going to lope. Why would I lope? I got yanked on the last time I loped. So what I really encourage people to do when they're teaching is, if they take a wrong lead, do not get after them for loping off. You need them to want to lope off. Okay? What I'll do, if they take the wrong lead, I'll keep loping, but I'll steer a small circle until they have to trot. From here, I go into that idea that the only reason that this mare took that left lead is because she was thinking go left and I was thinking go right. I go right back to my lollipop idea. I get her thinking go right, go right, go right, and then I go back to my cue. I push my leg on, lope off, kiss to ask her to lope off, leave her alone. She takes that lead, I'm going to just leave her alone. I don't want to punish her for going forward. Now the last part, for some of these green horses, and some of you guys with a little bit lazier horses, or maybe they don't understand what the kiss means. Again, I'm never afraid to use a crop or take my rope down, something like that. Okay, because understand this. From the time this horse was born, if something came at her from her face, she'd run backwards. Something came at her from her tail, she'd run forwards, right? So then why do we kick them right in the middle to make them go? That makes no sense. Okay, they have to learn that. They have to learn that when we bump, we want them to go forward. And in fact, if I break it down even further, when I bump on my horses, it just means move your feet. Because I can bump on them and ask them to go backwards too. All it means is move their feet. Okay? So for these green horses, if you get to kicking on their bellies all the time, they are going to get agitated. Because they're saying, I have no idea what you want me to do. Okay? I have a lot more success if I have a hard time getting that horse to understand that kiss, and I should back up. The other problem with kicking on them all the time is you sacrifice the quality of your riding to do it. Okay? That's not very pretty. Okay? So I have a lot more success taking a crop or taking my rope down. Spending some time saying steer, 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 and then if you're going to use that crop or rope, you always use it to the outside of the lead. Okay? Steer, steer, and then I'll put my leg on and kiss, 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 whop, kiss, whop, kiss, whop. Now I leave it alone. Okay? And the important aspect of that is to understand that you have to still have that cue. You cannot rely on that crop or that rope to make them go. Because if you make this the cue, then you're always going to have to do this to make them go. If you kiss, kiss, follow up, kiss, swap, until they take that lead. Okay? I'm going to point out one more thing to you guys, because I would have all of you working on this, no matter how broke your horse is. This is the one trick from a riding standpoint that will make you a better rider in the lead departure and the lead change. Lack of forward motion is going to be your biggest cancer to anything you do, but especially the lead departure and the lead change. So when I'm setting my horse up, one thing I encourage people to learn in their riding is learn to be a bit of a drummer. So I'm going to take a right lead. I've got my left leg on, positioning this horse to lope. And you notice this leg is always bumping. Okay, what this leg is intended to do is to keep my forward motion going. Okay, right? When we ride forward, we bump here. I want to keep that forward motion going. The other thing that it does, especially in the lead change, is it doesn't let our horses just fall this way. A lot of times I see a lot of people change leads or lope off like this. Well, realize when you do that, first you've lost your forward motion, but you know, she's not going there anymore. She's just going this way. The other thing is she's just falling that direction. So, you guys are warming your horses up and you're working on, you know, like yesterday, we added to the lollipop idea, we added just pushing those ribs around. I work on that right away. I've got the inside leg on. I'm going to practice from this leg, see if I can keep that same cadence. You know, push that on. And for a lot of you, you're going to feel like you're, how do I, okay? But if you start off now, no matter how broke your horse is, when the day comes and I want to teach you how to change lead, it's going to come very, very easy. We're going to finish that idea in the lead change after you guys lope off. Any questions about that so far? Yeah?
Actually, when you're talking about bridling up your horse, like I call it bridling up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just look at it from a kind of like you said yesterday, the care of your horse. But could you use that as a cue down the line for bridling him up to a stop or bridling him up before a turn and then you know something's going to happen?
Yes, you could, but it'll cause you a lot of problems. Yeah. And hopefully, I'm going to show you that later on. When we work on the run and stop, that's going to be a good place. I get what you're saying. So,
Yeah.
Like, he's wanting that horse to stay in the bridle all the way to that stop so that they learn how to hold that position.
Not so much all the way to the stop, but like kind of, you know, like we were going yesterday, how we're doing the lope, but staying out of their face, eventually getting to the park where they're reading off the body or reading off the voice and anticipating the stop, but before you stop, bridling them up to set them up a little bit more to get to that.
Yeah.
Not bridling them all the way around, but just right before something happens to kind of cue them let them know something is going to happen.
And that becomes the issue right there. They know something is going to happen. And anytime the horse is anticipating, and actually, you know what, keep that idea. When I show you the lead change, I'll point it out even more for you. Anytime a horse, there is a time and place in the training of your young horse where you can use that, but it only lasts about that long. Because as soon as you start doing it, you start telling them what you're going to do. And anytime a horse anticipates you doing a maneuver, they will not perform that maneuver as well as they can. We have to have them confident, but at the same time, we somewhat have to catch them by surprise.
But make it more of a reacting instead of proactive.
Exactly. Yep. All right, so let's do this. We'll break off again. We're going to just slide everybody against this wall. Give me two horses again. We're just we'll go through, get everybody loped off at where you are. We'll take this usually just fine. Okay? And if there's one maneuver that is the most overthought and made the most complicated, it is the lead change. First rule in my lead change program is lead changes are very easy. And if you believe that, you will always believe they are very easy. Okay? We have to present it to our horses like it's easy. Okay? And we incorporate a lot of the exact same stuff that we're working on in the lead departure into the lead change. Okay? A lot of the same mechanics, a lot of the same riding styles gonna help us out when we change leads. Second rule to the lead change is a lead change is a maneuver in itself. It is not a means to go the other way. Just because a horse changes leads from the left lead to the right lead does not mean that they are going to go to the right. Okay? I should back up one thing I was going to say. So for some of your horses are not ready to change leads yet, and that's fine. my point was telling you about the lead departure and taking that time this morning is that the better you can get there, when you come to me and you say, you know what, I think I'm ready to change leads, we will have very little trouble doing so. Okay? So keep working on those lead departures. So a lead change is not a means to go the other way. It is an individual maneuver. With that said, because of that, what my ultimate goal on my reining horses, again, is to be able to change leads on a straight line. Okay? Where I can change to the right to the left, and my horse just continues down that straight line. I'll change leads on a hunting here.
No, it's right.
Yeah, you can stay there. I don't think I'll hit you. So, again, ultimate goal. I want to be able to, a lot of times I want to diagonal, whatever, on a straight line. I want to be able to get on a straight line, ride my horse straight, push my left leg on, have them change leads. Not that off. All right. Do it again. Here's my straight line. Push my right leg on. She changes lead. I take my leg away, and we can keep on going straight. That is my ultimate goal in a lead change. It should be that simple. So, first thing, that myth I try to dispel is a lot of people, when they're taught to change leads, they're taught to push them over, change legs, change leads. Okay? And I'm not going to say I don't do that. There's a time in my training program where we need to do that. But there are two major issues with learning to change leads like that. The most important issue with that is when you set a horse up to change leads, you will teach them to anticipate that lead change. And as soon as you start setting them up, they go, I know it's coming, I know it's coming, I know it's coming, I know it's coming. They will not change leads very pretty doing that. The next thing that I don't like about teaching a horse to change leads that way, if you think of your horse like a boat, you basically take 1,000 pounds and you sway it one way, and then you throw it the other way. That's not very pretty. I would much rather my boat just stay nice and balanced, and the lead change just goes this to this. Okay? So, now that I'm going to go back and change on her one more time now that she's a little more awake. I want to point out one more thing. And this goes back to a lot of the same habits that I'm asking you guys to get in your riding and lead department. Again, what most people are going to want to do when they change leads, they're going to want to take a hold of them and then ask them to change leads. The problem with that hopefully some of you have found is when you take a hold of them first, you sweep any of the problems that they might have under the rug. You're not going to know if she's going to run off. You're not going to know if she's picking her head up. My ultimate goal is to be able to change on a loose rein. See how Honey does this. Be able to put my hand down on a loose rein in first gear, push that leg on, have her change, and not pick her head up and not speed up. The only way I can get them there is if I let them make the mistake.
Just so you know, I think that's freaking awesome.
Well, thank you.
I
Thank you
thought
very
that was
much.
pretty cool.
It didn't come easy, but we'll get that later.
Holy Hannah.
So it goes back to, again, right back to that lollipop idea. Getting into the habit of putting your leg on first and then picking your hand up. So I'm going to show this to some of you because I know this is where you're from. What I'm going to have you do is if you did a counter canter, and for those of you who don't know what a counter canter is loping in the wrong lead on purpose. On purpose. And I'm going to have you put your hands down. We're going to ask for that lead change, and we're going to let them come apart. And I'm going to make Honey come apart here. So, I get her on the straight line, I start pushing that leg, and she starts speeding up, and she takes off. I'm going to keep my leg in. I'm going to bring my hands in until she's changed lead, slow down and soften. Just the same move that we did when we followed through with the lead departure. It's the exact same move, right? So for my lead change program, like on a really green horse, I do not care one bit what they do when I ask them to change leads. All I care is if they get the lead change. Instead of holding them together in the beginning, I want to put them back together at the end. Because if you think what this horse just told me, and I made her do it, but if you think what this horse just told me, she thinks that my right lead leg means throw your head up, speed up, and change lead. all we need to do is come in with our hands and say, well, it doesn't mean this, it doesn't mean this, all it means is this. Change it. And if we allow our horses to make those mistakes, in the beginning, it is not long when you have a horse that you can put on loose rein, switch that leg on, they change leads, take that leg away, we keep on riding. Okay? And so talking about how to ride that lead change, that's why I encourage all of you, whether your horse can change leads or not, to go home and practice being that drummer, being able to hold your hi-hat and play your bass drum at the same time. Okay? Because here's why. Just like with the lead departure, I see a lot of people when they go to change, they're riding, and then they go, change lead. Okay? And that does two things. First thing it does, you quit riding. You got no more forward motion. So you watch the good horses, they'll still change leads, but they'll lunge to do it. Why do they lunge? They lunge because they don't have enough forward motion to do the maneuver that you asked them to, so they have to go create that move. If you can learn how to ride through that, you'll take that lunge out of there a lot smoother. The other reason why this is important is when you do this, you open a door for them to duck that way. Now all of a sudden the lead change means duck that way. Okay? By driving this leg on, you not only keep them going forward, you keep them going straight. Yes. Okay?
Kind of walk along and she'll change the lead, put her head down and do it nice and quietly, you know. But I get to the horse show and like, if I don't kind of let the girls first change these, I'll kind of take off. And then you're going to be cast higher.
Okay?
So, again, practice is more practice. Just do it the same as, you know, when you're going through the pylon, going down the straight line.
Yep. I'm going to help you. We're going to fix it. So, the great thing about what I like that you said, I don't mind people making exceptions when they get to the horse show. You know, another big lesson I was taught as being a showman is don't let what you already know beat you. Okay? When I get to a horse show, I know my horse. Would I love to think he's perfect? Of course I would. But I know he's not. I'm a realist. I know there's going to be issues. I know there's things that aren't going to be perfect. And I'm going to come up with a game plan to show my horse to the best of my ability. So when you tell me that, and you kind of know that you need to live to be good at the horse show, I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is coming home and not addressing it, not trying to make it better, and just doing the same thing at home that I do at the horse show. Okay? So I look at that and I say, okay, well that means one, I've got a horse that changes leads pretty well, but it sees my leg as means run faster. So I want to fix that. That's where I want to go home and work. If I don't get it completely fixed by the next horse show, that's fine. I'll make adjustments to get through it. But I will keep working on that until I've got it right where I want it to be.
One thing that really helped me from the last clinic was when you...
My clinic?
Yes, your clinic. Was the fact that when you change leads sometimes, to just let them, after they change leads, to slow down and stop and walk. And that has helped her actually be more quiet.
Yep.
Anticipating
Yep.
it's going to be able to stop.
And to be fair to my program, it's not very often that I have one come down to a walk, because I don't like to do that, but on this particular horse, it does work, yep. And so if that's working, my goal then for you, we're gonna jump right in and do it right now, is to maybe not have to come to a walk, be able to pick up and just bring them back to first gear, using the same method that you used when you were following through with the lead departure. Pushing that leg on, taking a hold, and not letting that leg go until they've changed leads, slowed down, and stopped.
Okay, say that again.
Okay, so picture yourself, you're in a right lead. Your hands down on her neck. You go to change leads, you push this left leg, or this right leg on, right? She changes leads, but she lifts her head up and speeds up. What are you gonna do? You're gonna keep your leg on, you're gonna pick your hand up, you're gonna stay here until she's already changed the lead, so you've already gotten that part. Now all you wanna do is get her to slow down and stop, just like you were doing in your lead departure. Once she does that, you take your leg away, you drop your hand, she will drop her neck. I promise you. You say, look what I can do. That makes sense? You ready to try it?
No.
I'll give you 5 more minutes to compose yourself. So that's our ultimate goal, right? So some of you have a little bit greener horses. That's okay. always have what you expect that horse to be in 5 years in your mind today. Okay? Set habits today that are going to allow you to get there. So how do I start my young horses in the lead change? So first thing we do, and the reason why we need to be able to push that leg on like we did in the lead partner, is to be able to counter canter. And again, all the counter canter is loping in the wrong lead on purpose. Okay? But the only thing I need from my young horses to be able to change leads is that I can get them to stay in this counter canter, and I can push my left leg, my inside leg on, and take a hold, and they give me their chin, which is what you guys did when you were working on your lead departure, right? That's all I need from them to be able to change leads. Okay? From there, once I know I can do that both ways, it's as simple as being patient. Okay? So I'll go around the counter canter. When I think I'm ready to change leads, I turn everything loose. I clear the arena. I start pushing that right leg, pushing that right leg, pushing that right leg, pushing that right leg. And I do that, and you know what it is? They're going to start speeding up. They don't know what to do. I just keep pushing, and I just keep pushing, and I just keep pushing. And keep pushing. She's going to fall apart. She's going to drag the lead. It's no big deal. I'm just keep pushing. And she gets that lead change. Once she does, my hands come in, I keep my leg on, and I go right back to when I showed her the lead departure. Well, she's a good test of you. You see, that's what's going to happen to most of you. Okay? And the reason is, again, if we go back to the lead departure, why did she change up front and not behind? Well, I'm circling to the left, the shoulders are traveling left. That's what most horses will do, right? So when we start teaching, everybody gets frustrated because they don't change from behind. When you read the books or you watch the videos about the lead change, they talk an awful lot about timing to a lead change. And there is timing to a lead change. There is only one beat in that horse's 3-beat cadence where they're physically capable of doing a flying lead change. Timing is not nearly as important as patience. Okay? Problem with timing is, in a situation that I just put Honey in, people say, okay, I got to get it just right. And they're thinking about it, and they go, now. And it doesn't happen. What do? They freak out. That horse throws its head up in the air and he says, I don't know what just happened, but it is a big deal. My biggest goal, if you guys noticed on there, and I'm sitting there, big deal. Keep going around. But forward motion is my friend. The faster she goes, I know she's going to pop over there and change leads eventually. If she's a good leader, right? All I got to do is fix it on the back end. Okay? But if I'm always patient about it, that time it took me, 2 circles to get the lead change. If I get it, we slow her down, depend on her, say she's fine. The next time it'll take 1 circle. The next time it'll take half a circle. And they don't have to get it right now. You just give them time, let them work it out. Pretty soon, they find confidence in your leg, they feel that leg, pop over there, change leads. They start waiting for you to pull on to slow them down. Now all of a sudden, now you've got a horse and you can just leave your hand out and change leads. But that attitude starts. That attitude for me starts right from the first time I counted 10. And then finally, on a side note, you guys notice I'm not afraid to use a flag. I'm not afraid to use my rope, whatever. I showed you guys yesterday, if you're having a hard time taking a lead, that you steer in and you use that crop from the hind end, or you use your rope from your hind end. I'll do the same thing in the lead change. Like, let's say this mare just could not figure out how to change leads behind. She just keep going around here, counter canter. I just take that rope, keep asking, send that there, until she changes the lead, pick up, slow her down. Keep it simple. This is a simple maneuver, okay? Very simple maneuver that everybody freaks out about.
So you don't ever do simple lead changes?
Correct. Simple lead change in my world is a bad word. But that's a good question, and I'll tell you why, okay? A simple lead change, if you guys don't know, is break into a trot and lope and back off, okay? In the new lead. The problem with that is, it teaches horses to slow down to change leads.
And that's not a good thing though?
It's
not too
not.
slow, but doesn't it slow them down if they're too fast?
No, because this is what will happen. Okay, it's a good question. This is what will happen. You'll spend 8 years on your horse doing a simple lead change, and then the day comes where you have to do a flying lead change. You bring him to me and you say, "Can you teach this horse to do a flying lead change?" And I say, "Sure." And I start loping him around, and I go ask him to change, and what does he do? He breaks to a trot. And then he takes it, well, I can't have that. So then what I have to do is I have to teach him to run off. I have to teach him, I have to create a new problem. I have to teach him, when I push this leg, run. Get the lead change, now slow back down. Because if that simple lead change, they'll want to break to a trot every single time. Every single time you put that leg on, they'll want to break to a trot. Yeah.
So, like on my 3-year-old, when I'm doing the figure eights, and I'm doing simple lead changes, let them lope in the wrong lead. Like, if they don't switch it, I mean, try to get them to switch it, but if they don't, let them lope in that wrong lead until they do switch it. Just stay on the same circle.
So, yes.
Like, do you see what I'm asking?
If I do, yeah, first thing I would say is don't do figure eights. Because a lead change is not a means to go the other way.
Okay.
Okay, so now you guys are gonna get too in depth. That's okay, I'm gonna talk about it.
Okay, well then.
No, you're good. I wanna show you why. I wanna show you why you have trouble.
Okay.
Do you mean a figure eight, or are you doing like 2Ds?
No, I do a figure eight as a barrel racer. I do a figure eight.
Thank you for your honesty. Yeah.
Huh?
Thank you for your honesty. Yes.
As a barrel racer, we do figure eight.
Agreed. And in the reining, we do figure eights. And that's why the lead change is probably the most misunderstood. Is because the only time we're ever asked to change leads in the reining is when we're asked to change directions. Right? So, I'm going to backwards just a little bit. When I do my figure eight, what I expect to be able to do is I come off this circle and I hit a straight line through the middle. Every single time I come through the middle, I go straight. Okay? Depending on the size of the arena, depends on how big my straight line is. In this arena, it's about 4 strides. If I come through here, I go straight, I go straight, I go straight, and then I ask my horse to continue to the left. When it's time to change leads, take all this lead change stuff I've been talking about a straight line. I come through, I go straight, I change leads, I stay straight, and then I ask my horse to change direction. 2 separate maneuvers.
So you use the lollipop to ask them to wow.
Yep, they are not.
Change the directions, not the lead to change direction.
2 separate maneuvers. Change leads, go straight, change directions. They are not together.
Okay.
Okay?
Cameron, one of the things I think that the very first time we came to see you, that I picked up too, is this really, as far as like this figure eight, we're really not looking at a circle, so to speak, more of a D.
Correct.
Because in the middle, we're straight.
Yep.
And I think there might be a better.
Yep.
Well, mine are perfect figure eights. Perfect.
Okay, let me show you why that causes you trouble though. That's good.
No, they are. I mean,
I know, but think about this for a second. Hold on, I want to finish what I was telling you. If I cannot get a horse to change leads, and things have just gone to pot, and I'm not getting anywhere, I don't break them to a trot to get the lead. I pull them down to a walk, and I work on my lead departure. Because the mechanics of my lead departure are going to be the exact same as my lead change. Okay, but I don't want to teach them to take that trot step in order to get it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like if I've got a green horse and I'm asking them to change leads and I've gone around here 10 times and hit the manage is not happening. And my horse is starting to get upset now and starting to worry and I'm not going to teach him anything. I'm going to keep that leg on. I'm going to pull down to a walk, push him over, ask him to low walk, and tell him you're fine, don't worry about it. It may be that I need to work more on my departure before I'm ready to do my lead change. Does that answer your question better? Okay. So now, think about this. I will bet you almost all the money in my pocket that when you go to work on your lead change, the problem you're having is you're changing leads up front, fine, but it's just you not figure out how to change leads behind.
you mean crossfire?
Yeah. Agreed?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Here's why. If you make a perfect circle, as I just have, I'm standing in the center of the pin, and I've just created a perfect circle. You are in the middle of my pin, okay? Where is my horse's head? Right? It's over there. I'm going to do a perfect circle. Where is my horse's tail?
Out there.
Okay? So this is my straight line. Now, I'm going to ask her to change leads that way. What do we know about the lead a horse will take based on their shoulders? Her shoulders are headed that way, aren't they? Yeah, heck yeah. Pop right over. But her hips are still back on this circle.
Okay.
Right?
Totally makes sense now.
That makes sense to you?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. And so that's why I don't want to teach young horses to change leads on the figure eight, because you're setting them up to fail. Okay? You take this straight line idea. Nah, I don't want to tell you that. We'll get to that later. That's too far down the road.
That's okay.
But reiners are just as guilty of this. show horses are just as guilty of this. Riders will do this exact same thing, and this is the vicious cycle. They're showing their horse and they come through like this, through the center, and they ask them to change leads. Horse changes leads behind, they don't change, or changes leads up front, and they don't change behind. And that horse drags a lead for a quarter of a circle. That's a 1-point penalty. Oh man, I just missed out on a bronze because I drug lead. By God, I ain't gonna let that happen again. The next time they come through, they take this leg back and they go, yeah! Right? Well, what does that horse do? Okay, you just took a 1-point penalty and turned it into a 5-point penalty. Okay, now you got problems. Alright? This straight line idea for young horses, but also for finished show horses, will fix almost every issue you have in the center of the pen. Every issue. Because now that you're on this straight line, she doesn't have to duck this way, duck that way. All she has to do is take her feet from this to this and keep going right there until I tell her to go over there. You good on that? Making sense? Cool. Tell you what I want you guys to do. Everybody come on into the center here.